Shalom, Ahab, Shalom, Ahab, wa Baraka. In other words, peace, love, and blessings. And then, of course, facing the east, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai Bahashim, Rucha Chedash. And double honors to all the prophets, the teachers, the elders, the apostles, the students, which are disciples, and the sincere Akiyam Akwath coming into this 100% truth. Double honors to the saints of GMS for going out into the highways and the hedges and teaching the 100% truth, while all of the other camps are joining against them to push false doctrine because they have a 501c3. So today, what we're going to do is I just wanted to isolate some classes down just to certain parts. And so today I'm going to isolate bottomless pit. We're only going to talk about the bottomless pit, and that way I can keep it kind of short and we can just focus on that one thing. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the book of Revelation. I'm waiting for my tablet to wake up. All right, let's go. Book of Revelation, chapter 20. Revelation chapter 20, KJV. And we're going to go to verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain was in his hand. So let me read it again. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Okay? So, I want to explain a few things before I tell you exactly what the bottomless pit is. So, first, a pit would have to be in land, right? You would have to have, like, if you're going to have a pit, there's going to have to be a surface to it. So the bottomless pit, the top of that bottomless pit would be land. So lands are depicted as pits. So let's get that. Let's first of all, let's break the silence on it. The bottomless pit is Europe, and the keys to the bottomless pit and great chain in his hand represents slavery. Okay, so there's the spoiler. The bottomless pit is Europe, and I'm going to show you why. And the key to the bottomless pit and the chain is slavery. Okay? So it has nothing to do, once again, let's just keep going. Let's go to second. And it's just funny when I hear people with these funny breakdowns of hell, because the bottomless pit is supposed to represent hell, right? You're going to go into the bottomless pit. Okay, let's find out. Let's go to the book. This thing wants me to update every week now. Second Esdras, chapter 5, KJV. So we're going to go to Second Esdras, chapter 5, KJV. And we're going to go down to, start at verse 23. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk to the Most High again, and said, O power, the bearest rule. Verse 23, and said, O power that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of the trees thereof. Thou hast chosen the one only vine. So, and you know what? It's funny because that goes right into all out of all the different nations on the earth, I chose Israel, and that's what it's saying again right here. I can actually get that precept. I have to find it. I'll find it in a minute, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. Verse 24. And this is where the point is. We're talking about the bottomless pit. That's why I don't want to jump around really. But and of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen the one pit, and of all the flowers, therefore, one lily. So the point right there is he chose one pit in all the lands, and what you're going to find out is Europe. And lands are depicted as pits. Some beareth much fruit, and some none. Actually, land resources. It's like when you're calling it a pit and it beareth fruit, that's the resources like oil, water, minerals, livestock, everything that if it grows on that land, and that's all around the world. Okay. Definition of bottomless pit: a very deep gulf or chasm in the lowest part of the earth, used as a common receptacle of the dead and the abode of the demons. This is a Christian definition. I'm sorry, Christian definition. Also, there is nothing in this word bottomless pit that indicates inferno or fire or to burn. So once again, this whole burning in hell is a lie. Is a lie. It is like the Gulf of Mexico is what Uriah Lob used as an example when I first took the notes from him. So Uriah Lob at GMS, it's document channel 3 or 4, something like that. GMS docu channel. I forget how it goes. But Uriah Lob actually, he brought that to my attention. He said the Gulf of Mexico is like a gulf. So a deep gulf or chasm in the lowest parts of the earth, used as a common receptacle of the dead and the abode of demons. Also, there is nothing in the word bottomless pit, like I said, that indicates to an inferno, fire, to be burning. It doesn't say that. It says that, like I told you, it's Europe. And I'm going to show you why Europe is the bottomless pit. When you get into the root word butos, it means the bottom depth of the sea. Water. So that's the proof. It's nothing to do with Christian vision of a pit with hot, fiery flames. And for all you IUIC members that are turning into Christians, you keep calling on Jesus Christ, that's who's going to show up. We're calling on Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. You guys are on this. You're on this fiery flame, hot inferno. The definition starts off by saying a very deep gulf, like I said, like the Gulf of Mexico. Another nail in the coffin of false doctrine. Or, and Orcus is a false god of the Romans that send the dead, the god of the underworld, the punisher of broken oaths, and the Italic Roman mythology that was implanted. So this is where you get your bottomless pit. I hope you're listening carefully into the scriptures. So this was an implant, what we call supersessionism or replacement theology. It was an implant. It never said that. They don't want you to know that it's a state of being. They want you to know that hell it's like I want to think of the right words. a position, a low position. So the higher up your position, if you're a king, you've got all the spoils of the earth. But if you're on earth, you're a servant. In this particular breakdown, it's telling you that hell is a bottomless pit. So let's get with that why I keep saying it's Europe, okay? Because that's where we're gonna understand why it's the bottomless pit. Well, I already told you it's got no resources. It has no resources. They don't have, okay, so if you look at Europe on a map, they have no minerals. They have no oil. They don't even really have any water. They don't have crops. They don't have good soil. They don't have anything. You can't dig in the ground and ever find gold there or silver or copper. You're not finding oil. You're not finding anything there. They have to have everything shipped in. So it's a bottomless pit because it has nothing. But let's move on, because it's not that because this is where you get the lie of the fiery pit of hell anyway, from Christians, not from Israelites. We're going to tell you the truth, and that's why everybody comes against the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Hurts. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Ignorance is bliss. All that stuff you guys say, it's all starting to fall apart. So when the truth is spoken, the people go against the truth. So, okay, we know that the bottomless pit is, we know what the bottomless pit is. Let's move on to the chain, to the great chain. The word chain, megas, the word great means megas, and the word chain is halusas, bound by fetters or by manacle fetters. And then they go on the feet, and manacles go on the hand. In other words, handcuffs, feet, slavery, like I told you. Very easy to comprehend that this is slavery. Psalms 149. Let's get some more scripture. Psalms chapter 149, KJV. Man, I hate it when they do that. Trying to mess with me every time. All right, let's get Psalms chapter 143. We're going to start at verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So that bottomless pit is talking about slavery once again. And we know that the chains and the fetters are talking about handcuffs. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all saints. Praise ye Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So we're going to have the honor of putting you guys in these chains. But to stay with the context, the bottomless pit, like I said, it's Europe. They don't have any resources. So, but at the end, we are going to have the honor of putting you guys all in chains that are what we call the other nations in, first and foremost, the Edomites. So let's go back into it. Revelation chapter 20, KJV. And let's go to verse 2. And he laid on the dragon that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So most people don't even realize that this has already happened. So he bound him where? In the bottomless pit, 1,000 years. So when you, the old dragon is the Roman Empire and a representation of the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The representation of Isu. So what they did was they built a system that we have to live by. That's why they call it the nature of the beast, or the beast system. You have to live by this system because you're Hellenized and you live in this country, in America. And what do? They go from country to country telling everybody else, not giving them an option, telling them like they pretty much have to do what we say. It's very interesting because they just had Kamala Harris going to Africa, Ghana, and a few other places, and they lectured her and told her, no, we're not going to have the alphabet crew out here. We're going to make that illegal. So now they're probably going to have some serious problems pretty soon because she goes in like she's all nice and it's the great thing to do, but they're not trying to drink from the cup of her iniquity anymore. In fact, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Like I said, it's the Roman Empire. They almost got taken out completely. And the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So it's a representation of NATO and the EU. That old serpent, that goes back to the Garden of Eden. Serpent means sorcerer. So when you want to talk about how the serpent was the most subtle creature in the garden, you got to understand the sorcerer. The sorcerer. Now, can you understand that there was a fucking man in there and not a snake slithering around talking to people? Anyway, it goes back to the Garden of Eden and the spirit that was in that man that was in the garden that was called the serpent or sorcerer, which is another word, is the same spirit that was in Cain, Esau, and the modern day Edomites. It's the same spirit. It just keeps coming back. Like you think that only the Israelites, we're the only ones that are reincarnated. No, everybody's coming back. Everybody. Every single person you see today has been sent back. Every single. Look at the person on this side. Look at the person on that side. Look at the elders right here. They've been sent back. They've been sent back to teach us. I've been sent back. So we know that Cain, Esau, and the modern day Edomites, and bound him 1,000 years. Here's where the real studying comes in. We're about to get the 100% truth about the 1,000-year timeline because we need to understand that to understand the bottomless pit. All right, get your notebooks out, make some records. Let's deal with the dragon and the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. So we got to go to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, KJV. I was thinking this class was going to be a lot quicker. I can't believe that it's going to be a little bit longer than I expected. All right, let's go to verse 3. 12 and 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. This is a representation of Esau's whole power structure. All the kingdoms starting from Greeks, Romans, French, Spain, the Spanish, then you got Germany, Germania Major and Germania Minor, and Great Britain, the British. Greeks first to take power, the 7 heads and 10 horns is not dealing with a spiritual demon, Satan. So when they show you that animated picture of a great red beast and all these, it's not talking about that. It's talking about a government structure. And it's not even, this isn't even mystical. You guys make it mystical because you don't understand anything because you refuse to study. It has nothing to do with burning. It has nothing to do with fire. It has nothing to do with being in a physical bottomless pit. It has to do with no resources and almost being taken completely out. That's what it's talking about for 1,000 years, because that's during the Byzantine Empire, which you guys would call the Dark Ages. Why do they call them dark? Because everybody that ruled over everything is black. How about this? I'm pretty sure the word Britain means covenant man. Who has the covenant? Ireland means black land. Look up who St. Patrick was taken out. Look who the serpents were to St. Patrick. You got to remember, he was a Roman. He went in there and took out all the Israelites that were left in that land. You guys celebrate that every year too. Putting on all your green, acting like there's a leprechaun. No, it was a straight slaughter, a murder. But anyway, has nothing to do with you here or there. I'm just showing you guys, during that 1,000 years, we ruled over everything. And they were almost completely gone. So, Revelation, let's read it again. Revelation 12:3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, the great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. Like I said, this is a representation of Isu's whole power structure, or the government. All of the kingdoms starting from, like I said, Greeks, Roman, French, Spain, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Britain, and which one am I missing? Greeks, Romans, French, Spain, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Yep, there it is. That's all of them, 7. And British. I just wanted to make sure I had said them all. Now, the Greeks first to be taken, they first to take power. 7 heads and 10 horns, not dealing with a spiritual demon, Satan. I already told you that. The beast was the representation of different empires. Do you get that? The beast is a representation of different empires. What are empires? Times in history where a certain nation had rulership, or a certain person, or a certain nation of people, or a certain group. So, we know that it's not dealing with with Satan. It's dealing with the beast was a representation of the different empires. And like I said, the beast system is how they ran those empires. So, and you know what? The representation of different empires is the vision that John actually saw. So I'm just going by my notes today, because that's why we take them, right? We take notes so we can refer back to them. What was the vision that John actually saw? Let's see it. Let's go to it. Let's go to Revelation. Chapter 17, and we're going to go down to verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. What are mountains? Mountains are the representation of nations. Mountains are the representation of nations, and let's prove that too. Ezekiel chapter 36, KJV. All right, let's start from the top. Ezekiel 36:1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. You nations of Israel. So how many? Israel has 12 tribes. So he's saying, talk to all of Israel, all the nations. The mountains represents nations. I just proved it to you. All right, let's keep going. Let's go back to the representation of government. Now we had the G8, which is now the G7. Who left? Who left? Who left the G8? Come on now, we're fighting against them right now. Russia. If anybody said Russia, you're absolutely right. A meeting of government leaders that come together. So let me start over. The mountains are nations, the representation of the governments. And then the G7 are a meeting of government leaders that come together for a summit, the highest point of a hill or mountain or a meeting place between the head of governments. So what's a summit? A summit is the top of the mountain. So when they have they come together for a summit, the highest point of a hill or mountains. Okay, so all the top leaders, is what they're saying, are gathering together for a meeting. Also confirming that mountains in the scripture are governments, and the woman sitting on the 7 heads is America. Do you see how none of this stuff talks about burning? There's no fire. There's no actual falling into a pit of fire and being on fire and walking around burning. That's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. Now, when you suffer the horrific death, I can't say that you're not going to burn right there, because it clearly says that by fire he will plead with all flesh. So we know that he's going to shoot his arrows and they shall not miss. So we know that those nuclear weapons are coming soon. But you've got to remember, all the guys that are doing what we're doing here, we're going to be taken up. And we're going to go right back to where we belong. Remember, when you're born, you go right back to doing what you were doing before you died the first time. So that means I went right back to taking notes and trying to understand the scripture. Went right back to studying under the elders. Other people went right back to being corrupt and taking money to lie to the people to keep them asleep. See, this is all part of hell. But the 7 heads is America. The other countries pretty much are propping her up. So right now, what are we doing? We're going from country to country telling them what they have to do, because throughout the years, we've been exalted by the other countries. How does that go? They all drink from the cup, the cup of her iniquities. So anyway, let me just keep going. So we know that the 7 heads is America. The other countries pretty much prop her up. So now we got to go back to Revelation. Revelation chapter 17 and KJV. And we're going to start at verse 9. Revelation, we're going to start at verse 7. At verse 7, I mean. And you know what? Yeah. Let's start at verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? So when John saw the vision of America, he was like, wow, this place is beautiful. Why did you marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman. That's America. It's being told that America is being described as the woman that sits on the 7 heads. And of the beast that carrieth her. Do you see what I'm saying? Which hath the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. So, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. That's like that last part got me. See, we had the Roman Empire. They told you the Roman Empire that was destroyed. Yet we live with all. If you go, I have a Black's Law book over here, and every law that we live by is a Roman law. So there's the Roman Empire revised. But I like the way that reads. And behold, the beast that was and is not yet, and yet is. He was the ruler, and then for 1,000 years he was in the bottomless pit, and now out of that bottomless pit, they built a new empire that's going to run for a short time. But hey, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains which the woman sitteth. So we know that mountains are nations. And what the G7? Russia left the G7. Remember? So it was a G8. So now you understand what the G7 is all about. All right. Verse 10. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So America's only been here 400 and something years. You got to remember that. This place has been here the shortest amount of time and practically destroyed all of Earth in that short amount of time, if you want to get serious. But the verse 7 through 10, it shows that the beast carried the woman. In other words, they helped her throughout. America is this. America at this time is being carried by those nations. And we know that, and it's starting to fall apart in front of our eyes. So we're actually watching the prophecies unfold. So America is actually being carried by those nations, but you can see they're getting tired of doing this. And there are 7 kings which are rulers, 5 of them fallen. You had the Greeks, then the Spanish, then the Germania Major, Germania Minor. Fell to the Roman Empire at the time when John had this vision, at the same time when the same Edomite ruler died, Vespasian, around 96 AD. The kingdom was in power. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. I think I've made my point that the bottomless pit has nothing to do with burning or being on fire. And I don't want to go too much further. I just wanted to bring out that little portion. And I always like to finish my classes with Revelation 22 and 12. Revelation chapter 22 and 12, KJV. And I like Bible Hub. That's crazy. They don't give it to me now. The only one I like. I said I like it, and now it's not there. Revelation 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be. So remember, everybody, you're getting paid according to your work. That says notes. Take notes. Study to show thyself approved. That's right. Let's get that too. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. There it is. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, O workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Remember, he's coming quickly to repay you. So don't be ashamed to rightly divide the word of truth. Now, a lot of people are going to make fun of you and try to stop it from coming out. But when you follow the money, they're getting paid to do that. And with that being said, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, the bottomless pit is not talking about a fiery inferno. And with that being said, shalom.